Let's get more on this and speak to Hamdi Malik, who is a researcher at Keele University in the UK, joining us live now. Hamdi, many thanks for joining us. Now, it's been 2 weeks since the Mosul offensive began. How would you say the operation is going so far?
Well, we need to start with the fact that it's a very complicated operation for a variety of reasons. The geography is not easy. The coordination between different forces, from Kurdish to different Iraqi military units, the army and the police, and also the Shia paramilitary forces, and also the coalition forces on the sky. It's a very complicated mission, and also the fact that they have been very careful in not hitting civilian people, because if civilian people are going to die, obviously this is against the international law, but also will complicate the issue after the war is finished. So considering all that, it has been a slow progress, but a steady one, and we are yet to see the real fight which is going to happen inside Mosul itself, because so far obviously all the attacks and the operations have been going on in the vicinity of Mosul city.
You touched on it. Daesh has been using civilians as human shields. Is that a surprising tactic? I mean, would the forces have expected this? And how difficult does it make actually to keep going forward and to push Daesh out?
Absolutely difficult. Obviously, everybody expected Daesh to use this tactic, because they have done it before and they have shown that they don't have any regard for international law. In terms of making the operations more complicated, obviously that is an important issue, and that's one of the reasons the operation has been so slow. And still, we haven't reached the main neighborhoods of city itself. But as I said, it's very complicated and very difficult, and there are hopes amongst Iraqi military officers that there's a kind of resistance inside the city that would take place when the Iraqi forces reach the city. But that's, at the moment, that remains only a hope.
There have been a lot of concerns raised in the last 2 days or so about the involvement of the Shia militia group. Is there any way it could be there? We could see their involvement in a positive light as a good military tactic, because their idea seems to be to block from the West and prevent the Daesh militants from fleeing into Syria. Could that be a good thing?
Well, there have been actually reports saying that Daesh forces coming from Raqqa to support their forces inside Mosul. So it's not really clear which way Daesh forces are going at the moment. There's no any clear, reliable source in that. If we consider that, if we believe in the story that's saying they are sending troops from Raqqa, obviously, in terms of military tactic and strategy, it seems a good one. But there are other complications with Hashd al-Sha'bi involvement in this operation, and it's not necessarily military one. It's about the fact that these groups are considered to be backed by Iran, and they are considered to be sectarian forces. And in the past, some of these groups, which are very diverse, by the way, they're not really one. You can't put them under one umbrella. But some of them have been committing human rights violations in other parts of the country, such as, for example, in Fallujah. And that's a very, very bad message to send to people in Mosul and around, because, as I said, the main problem maybe is not really taking Mosul. It's actually what you're going to do after you take Mosul, and the peace, how you bring peace to that very complicated problem. And Hashd al-Sha'bi, although can support in terms of military forces, in terms of number and experience and other and logistics, but it will complicate the map in terms of bringing peace.
Indeed, Hamdi, that is the question that keeps being brought up. What happens next, even if Daesh is pushed out of Mosul? Hamdi, many thanks for your time. Hamdi Malik, researcher at Keele University.